Good morning, everyone. Oh, where am I? Hi. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all who joined in on the chat beforehand. We had 81 people here before the video, and we've been chatting. Welcome, everyone. And here comes a lot more. Bobby, we missed you before the chat. He's our cheerleader every Saturday morning. But I love how you guys come and chat and everybody gets to know each other and ask questions and answer people and help everyone. I love to see everybody helping everyone. It's amazing. So thank you all for coming. If you're new here, I do this every Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern time. I have 36 or 37 other videos. If you're watching the replay, you can click up to the top, that corner. There's a little eye there, and if you click that, it will show you the playlist for all the other videos. And don't just go by the titles, because I show so much more in every single video than the title. This one's just Q&A because I wasn't sure what I was going to cover, but I saw a lot of questions this morning in my Cricut Design Space group. So I'm going to cover some of those, and then somebody asked some questions ahead of time. I'm going to cover those, and if you have more questions, please put them in all caps when you're in the live video. The questions do stay now with the video. So you can find the live chat even if you're watching the replay, but if you're watching the replay, you can't chat, but you can comment. Please ask questions in the comments. I try to answer those questions as soon as I see them. I get notifications. If I'm at my computer, I go straight to the comment and answer them. All right, good morning. And I'm so glad you can hear me. I've been having problems with my mic saying, you know, I have the light on, it's working, but then there's no sound, and I forgot to check that this morning. So thank you. It looks like it's working. And Sheila gave me permission to do this.
Your melody lane. With me, you're gonna have a great crafting time.
Thank you, Jamie, for sharing the links to my Facebook groups. Yay, welcome, Deb, the first time making it live. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, everyone, for helping out so much. Some of the questions, if I've answered them already, some of the people in the chat may help you answer the questions. So read the chat, pay attention to what I'm showing you too. So I will go over a little bit of the curved text too. I have some other things I'm going to do first. And one of them, let's go over to Design Space right now. Oh, and after this video, we're going to be opening viewer mail. And I just had a birthday, so I think a lot of these are birthday gifts, or cards. So make sure you join in that video. That video will be right after this one. It's on my YouTube channel already. So let's go to Design Space. Now, does my Design Space look a little different than yours? This was a question. Somebody was so frustrated because they didn't like the new Design Space. Well, this has been out for quite some time, but maybe she hasn't gone to Design Space since the new Design Space 3 has been out, and she could not figure out how to upload the SVGs. She bought some SVGs, and she couldn't figure out how to upload. Her screen looked a little bit like mine. Can you guys guess why I can't scroll? Like, I can just scroll the thing here, and I'm gonna get rid of those lines. I don't like all those unless I'm needing them. And there's no scrolling over here. There's no upload button. There's no shape buttons. I want to show you guys how to fix this. I'm on a Mac. It may be a little bit different on a Windows. But the reason I can't do this, and some people say do the zoom. Well, the zoom only moves the inside canvas. That's not helping my buttons showing up. And over here is more. And sometimes in curved text, it will be under the more. So if you don't see curved text and you have this button more, click the more. Okay, so I am on the Mac, and I forgot which button to use. Let's try this one. Nope. I just did this to make it bigger so you guys couldn't see them. Here it is. Okay, so I'm making it even worse now. I'm hitting the command key and the little plus and minus key. Well, I hit the plus key, and that's why I'm missing the buttons. Can you see up in the right-hand corner of the screen? Right up here. See how that changes? I'm zooming in again. So this is my computer. This really has nothing to do with Design Space. This is my computer. Zooming in. So if you don't have, this upload button should be the bottom button. Thanks, Jamie. It's Control or Command and the minus key or the plus key. The address for my viewer mail is on my channel. If you go to my main channel page, if you click my name now, you'll get out of this video. But if you go to my main channel page and click on About, I have my address there. And yeah, I think it's in the bottom of my description of my videos too. I'm not sure. I know it was at one time. And I gotta turn off my watch noise. Okay. And I had something else to show you. I have seen questions about people are putting, well, let's go ahead and just add some text. We're just going to use this as an example. Thanks, Jamie. Okay, so they're setting their text up. Say they want this to cut out on the mat at the 2-inch mark. 2 inches down and 2 inches, and there, it's full screen. 2 inches down and 2 inches in. This is where they want to cut it on the mat. But when they click on Make It, of course it doesn't cut there. The reason is, let me hit cancel. It always moves this up to the left-hand corner because it's trained to save you paper or vinyl or whatever you're working with. This area here is not the mat. It's not like in Cricut Craft Room. You don't lay things out. Here, let me also show you this, because some people say when they open some of my files, and I'll show you a flower file. I had a question beforehand. We're going to show you how to change that too. They're all on top of each other. How do I spread them all out? Well, there's no need to spread them out. You just click Make It, and Design Space does it for you. But that's not how I want it to be cut. Okay, let's go back to cancel. I want this to cut out on the paper in a certain spot. Okay, there's 2 ways to do this. The easiest way is to click Make It and move it to where you want it. So say I want that there, and I want that there, and I want that there. Let's say I'm going to do a scrapbook page and I want these cut out on that paper, and I'm going to save the page. So that's a reason why I would want to do that. Well, I can move it like this. And for those of you that don't know, if you click these little 3 dots, you can move them to a whole new mat too. And we're going to hit cancel. So some people want to do it here. And one way of getting these to cut out in the correct place, like if you want them to cut out like that, do you guys know the answer to make them cut out like this? Okay, select them all and click Attach. You can right click, whoops, I just deselected them. You can right click your mouse and click Attach, or you can click the Attach button down here. Now this says Detach because it's already attached. Now when I hit Make It, oh, I still want it down here. Oh, like on the 2-inch, 2-inch. There. Okay. So I can move that. That's the easiest way to do it, to be honest. But if you want to put everything here, what I do is I get a shape. Just going to do a square. I can make this really big, or I can make it really small. There's so many ways to do this. So let's say I want, you know what, let's just make this like 1 inch. Let's do 1 inch. And I'm going to put this up here. Okay, now I'm going to select this, the square, and the hello, and attach. But the problem with that is I have the square will cut out. I don't want that to cut out. So we're going to go over here to the layers panel, and we're going to change it to score. Now you can't really see it. Can you see the score, the perforated line? It's going to score a solid line. The trick is don't put your score tool in. So we're going to select that. We're going to select the hello. We are going to attach. Now we're going to click make it. And then now you do have to remember this does move down 1/4 inch all the way around. So if you want it to start in the very top of your paper, put the very top of your paper at 1/4 inch. And if you want to know where this spot is, what I do is try to cut something there and have it cut on your mat, or take a Sharpie and put on your mat so you know right where it starts cutting every time. Or you can just make this, you know, 1/4 inch smaller. Make the square 1/4 inch off of that and get it perfect. Does that make sense? Does anybody have questions on what I'm showing you here? And there is a delay. And I'm going to check the questions. Okay, and the reason you may want to do it this way instead of doing it like just moving these on the mat is because you can't save it. So now, if I want to save this file, I can save it and it will always cut in the same place on the mat. If I didn't have it detached here, I would have to move these every time. If this is going to be a project that I'm going to be cutting a lot of, I would totally do it, save it on the canvas like this. Yeah, you just add the square there, and it will, the design space will tell you to add in the score tool. Ignore it. It's okay if you don't do everything it tells you to. Don't put in the score tool. The machine will make all the motions to score this, but if you don't have a pen or score tool in, you'll never see it. It won't actually do it if it's not in there. Can you also attach and then hide the square? I don't know. Let's see what happens. No, if you hide the square, it goes back this way. And then you'd have to move it. Does that make sense? And you don't have to use a square. You can use a circle or whatever you want to use. How helpful are templates? That's up to you. Thank you, Sue. I don't use the templates. If I'm making something like these, I just measure the area that I want and just do it in Design Space that way. I don't use the templates. So it just depends on its personal choice. Okay, and I had some other things to show you. Will hiding the cutting mat work? I don't know what you mean. There's no cutting mat that you can hide. So if you can explain the question a little more. Okay. I did a video on curved text the minute it was released. So we will go over curved text again. Let me show you a few other things people have asked me. This is like only 25%. Oh, I'm trying to make it smaller. I want it bigger. Okay, these are my flowers. This is what I was talking about sometimes. Okay, this is working slow because there's so much in here. Sometimes these flowers these are the big, huge flowers I made. And sometimes when you open the file, they're like this. And they're trying to move them so they will all cut. There's no need for that. All you have to do with my files is click Make It. Now, the problem is I have made these to fit 12 by 12 paper. As you can see, they fit really closely on 12 by 12 paper. I did this to save you paper. Without this, they're on so many different mats. Actually, let's find out how many mats. This is a small flower. The large flower, the actual big petals are, and I'll show you that in another file, they're huge. They're actually bigger than 12 by 12. So I had to use that trick with a square to get it to fit on a 12 by 12. And I will show you that in a minute. But let me show you, I can detach these, and I'm going to show you how to fit them on smaller paper and how to make your images fit your paper. So we're going to detach, because I had all these detached. I'm not going to save this one. Thank you, Joan. Okay, so, oh wait, is this one still detached? Or attached? Okay, are they all? Oh, those are detached. So you have to just click on them and make sure they're all detached. So now I'm going to click Make It. Okay, this one's only 4, which I could switch this one up to this third mat, I think. Because this is the small one. The big one takes like 20 pages. So this is how Design Space did it. But I only have 8.5 by 11 paper. So here's the trick. This is how I did it to fit them all on 12 by 12 paper. I took a square and I make the square 11.45. It will only cut 11.5 by 11.5. And every time I do 11.5, it says it's too big. So I just do 11.45 and that makes it safe. So okay, get rid of this. I'm going to zoom out just so we can see this better. Okay, now, oh wait. This is what I did to make it 12 by 12, but we want to change the size of this. We want this paper to be, let's say, 11, and I unlocked the lock so I can make it a rectangle instead of a square, and we're going to do 8. And you could make it 7.75 or 7.9 or whatever you want just to make sure it fits the paper. So here I have it landscape. And so what I'm going to do is move this to the back. Okay, this white piece we don't need to work with that. So I'm going to put these on. Let me zoom back out a little. And I'm going to try to fit them as close as I can And what I do is turn them to save the best way. Sometimes it takes a while to play around with it. Okay, so we're going to move all these as close as we can to fit them as close as we possibly can on the 8.5 by 11 paper. Okay, so I'm not going to spend the time just to do all this. You guys get the point, right? Okay, so now we have to attach all these. Well, not this piece. You can hide this piece, or you can just move it out of the way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of those in that spot and click attach. So now when I take this to design space or to the mat, it's actually this one. And then it added these 4. So if what I can do is I can move these 4. If I only have paper this big, I can move these 4 to another mat. And she's asking, why can you can't select, I can select it on this one. If you have more pieces on the mat than what you need, you can. If it's smaller than that. If it's bigger, you can't. Let's try this. Okay, see? It will only let me choose 12 by 12. Let's move these. This is just an experiment. I've not done this before. I'm going to move those here. Okay, I got to move each one of these. Click here again. This may be another way to do it. I haven't really thought about it since we were able to move these pieces. Did I got one more. Okay, so now we're here, and let's see if, no, it still doesn't let us choose the smaller mat. But we can just put our paper on the mat like this. It's not letting me edit it to do 8.5 by 11. Yeah, you can draw on the petals. These already have draw lines. I don't see one on these two. I don't know if they're there. They're just not showing up. So do you guys want to see how I put the draw lines on here? Okay. I'm reading the chat, sorry if I'm quiet. Okay, okay, here's this petal. I need to detach. So this has a drawing line. What I did, this wasn't originally a cut file. It was the same one as this, well, before I added the slice in there, but all I did was shrink it down. Okay, let's go ahead and do it out of this one. Okay, I'm going to duplicate this. These are duplicated, so they're exactly the same size and everything. I'm going to change the color of this one just so we can see the difference of the two. So I'm going to put that on there. I'm going to make it a little smaller. And we're going to select them. And I want them to be centered perfectly. So I'm going to go ahead and click Align up here and then click Center. So it's centered. And now I'm going to change this one from Cut to Right. And then it has that line on it. We can choose what color we want it to cut or to write. I don't know if you can really see the difference. And now when we hit Make It, it will not write on there yet. You have to select it and you have to attach it. That's how I made them write. I don't know what you mean. How do you get the old shapes? There's shapes here. And if you cannot see the heart and the score line down here, then you need to zoom your computer out more. I know that's been a problem before. Okay, what else? Let me show you, whoops, this one. Okay, so this is my largest flower, and this is how it comes in. Like, they're just all on top of each other. And then these, I just had a question the other day. What are all those perforated lines? Well, let's hit Make It. Okay, you're asking how I did the cut line. Are you talking about the petal? I just showed how to do that. I just duplicated it. Or this cut line. This is just a score line. And all these lines here, these are just all score lines, and you change them to cut. You can change any image at all to anything. So I'm changing that score line to cut, and it will cut a straight line, and then you attach it. I could make this right also. If I don't want it to cut or score, I can make it right. So then it will write right on the image. Okay, sorry. Let's go back to this. And then I'll take more questions over what I've already done. Okay, so if you see this image is actually bigger than 12 by 12. The only way I could fit it on the mat was to cut it at this angle. Let me show that. Let me detach it from the square. Whoops. This file moves much slower because there's so much involved with it. Okay, I'm going to change the color of this one just for our purposes. Let's make it orange. Okay. So if I detach this, I'm detaching it from the square. See the perforated squares? Let's make this easier to see. I'm just going to take away all the lines. See, it has the square around it. That is a score tool, but I don't put the score tool in there. Thank you, Mickey. Okay, and we're going to detach. So now, the score line square is not connected to this. So let's click Make It and see what happens. Always click Make It to see what happens. So many people can answer their own questions if they click Make It. Now up here it says at least one of your images are larger than 11.5 in height and width. that is because we took that square away. So here's that square all by itself on this one. And all the white ones come up first. This one takes a lot of mats. Okay, so now you would need a paper that is bigger than 12 by 12, like a 12 by 24 paper, or 12 by 15, or actually 9 by 15 would fit if you had paper that size. Well, I didn't want that. I'm sharing this with my people who support me on Patreon. I want to make it as easy as possible for them. And by turning this, I know I can get it to fit on a 12 by 12 mat. But they would have to turn it themselves every single time. And as I said, I want to make it as easy as possible. So that's, thank you, Denise. So that is why I did it that way. So what I did, let me bring everything down so you can see things better. I just added the square from the basic shapes. I changed it. It was a cut square like this, and I just changed it to score. I could change it to right if I wanted to too. It doesn't really matter if I change it to right or score. Oh, it does though. I was going to say, it doesn't matter if you don't have writing or scoring in on that mat. But because I have this right, these petals have like a little border that writes around them. So I wouldn't want to get confused and have this right too. So when the design space tells you to put in the score tool, I just don't put in the score tool. This project does not need a score tool, but it does make this fit onto the 12 by 12. Thank you, Joan. Okay, does anybody have any questions over what I've done so far? I did have some questions on the curved text. So I'm going to detach this and just use this. Detach that. Okay, let's say I want to curve this text, not this one. So when you select the text now, you have this curve over here. If you do not see this, you may have the word more after alignment, and then it will give you these two options if you click more. So I'm going to click on curved text. I'm going to move this. Say right there. Now I want this hello to be the same curvature as that hello. So what I'm going to do is select that, click curve. I'm going to copy. You can right click and copy this number right here. So we're copying that number, okay? We're going to click the other text that we want like underneath it. And we have that selected. We're going to click curve. We're going to paste, go over the 0 and right click and paste that same number. But we need to add the negative, the little dash there. Can you see it's dash 3.257? And then hit enter on the keyboard. So now these are exactly the same. If I click the top one, it's 3.57. No, 3.257. If I click the one underneath it, it's negative 3.257. I hope that answers your question. Correct, Mary. You just make it as if you're doing a score tool, but you don't add the score tool in. The machine will go through the motions of scoring it, but without a score tool in, you're good. Hi, Richard. Joan's so funny. Okay, I'm going to go up. Oh, and there's something else I want to do because I've been doing so many live videos. These have not been being done. There's a few of the people who support my channel on Patreon. Monica, Lena, Sue, Lori, Huntress Habits, Laura, Lilana, Juanetta, Dawn, Kathy, Helen, Catherine, Deborah, Tony, Jean, Wendy, St, Colleen, Meta, Terry, Joyce, Josephine, Debbie, Christy, Jennifer, Milagro, Wendy, Mickey, Eva, Michelle, Erica, Jean Ann, Ashley, Jen, Heather, Gina, Sandy, Carrie, Kim, Iris, Lois, Lisa, Bridgetta, Charlotte, Patricia, Esther, and Angela. Thanks, guys. Okay, so I have a few questions. One question by Michelle. I got a cartridge in one of the mystery boxes. Do I have to buy the cable to link it to my maker since most of the cartridges are digital now? I hate to buy it for one cartridge. If you don't have any other Cricut machine, you cannot link it unless maybe you borrow someone's Cricut machine or go to their house. You can sign in to Cricut Design Space on any computer anywhere into your account, even on somebody else's machine. As long as you're signed into your account on a machine, it will link to your account. The question is, yes, you have to buy the, what's it called? The adapter to link it. I purchased one. I haven't even needed it. And I have other machines. I actually bought it on accident, but now I have it for my Cricut Club. I will bring that if anybody needs to use it there. I would get it when it's on sale. That's when I got it. And if you just have one cartridge, it depends on how much that cartridge is worth to you. Or if you think you'll ever have another cartridge again. Or sell the cartridge. You used to be able to call Cricut and they would link it for you because there was no other option. But now they created that. And so they want to use their tech support, their customer service for people who need help and not just linking the cartridges. And thank you, Tina Louise. There's a question. Are they working on center option for curved text around an object? Like baseball mama curved around a baseball. I don't know. I've never tried that. And I don't know what they're working on until it's released. So I don't think that's an option they've even thought of. I never thought of it. I don't know. But you can, thinking you can center it. What I could do is take this hello. Well, and it depends on if it's just one word or two like this. And I can center these like center vertically. Whoops, undo. Maybe I needed to center horizontally. Yeah. So now they're even across this way. And I can attach those. And then I can select those and the circle and click align and center. Then it's centered between these. And it's all centered, if that helps you. I don't think there's going to be a DS app for Amazon Fire. I have not been told either way. Yes, you can just type in the number. So if you don't want to copy and paste, you can write the number down and then type it in, or, you know, I don't have a memory, so I'd have to write it down or copy it. Okay, I'm reading the text or the chat. Can you curve text? Oh, I lost it. Can you flip the curved text to write hello in a clockwise around in a circle? I'm not sure what you mean. You can flip it. I'm just going to undo. Let's detach. So like say I wanted this. Let's copy that. I just copied it with the keyboard hitting Command and C. That's how I usually copy. And paste. And enter. I always forget to hit enter. Do you guys forget that too? So I could turn this like that and put that around in a circle, or I'm just going to change the word so we don't get confused. If I type the word all like this, and then I can curve it to any way I want. And you can make it go completely in a circle. If you put it all the way to the ends, it goes in a circle, and you can have it either way. How does digital paper work? You have to print the digital paper from the printer, but you can, when you upload digital paper to Design Space, you click here in Pattern Fill. So then you click there, and then you have to change your image to print. Okay, it did it. And then click Patterns. And this is where you will find digital paper. And it takes a minute. Well, it's over here, but it's not showing here. There it is. So that's the digital paper. And then when you click make it, that might be too big. I don't know how big this, oh, it's not. It will show up here, and you click continue, and then you click print. You send it to your printer. Whatever printer is hooked up to your computer, you don't hook your Cricut up to the printer. And then the Cricut will read this black line and know where to cut. So then after you take this out of your printer, you put it on your mat and load it up to your Cricut. Can you show how to add curved stitch lines? I have a video on that. There's a cartridge an image set in Design Space that has a lot of stitched shapes. You have to just use that. There's no other way that I know of without using dies. Oh yeah, patterns do not work on iPad. To get digital paper into Design Space, you click the upload button, same button you click to upload images and SVGs, and then you go over to this side to pattern fill. So you put it in there. If I were to cut any of these letters, they would not be attached to each other. If I wanted this happy to print on a circle, what I would have to do, and pay attention guys, for those of you that don't know, this is a question I see all the time. So I'm going to change this to white. And to make everything more visible, we're going to change the background just so you can see. So I don't want these letters to cut out individually. I want them to cut out on a circle on the paper, on a white circle. So I'm going to add the circle. And we're going to move the circle to the back by clicking Arrange, move to back. Let's move those out of the way. Whoops. I'm going to make it a little smaller. I'm going to select them both just by dragging a circle. And I'm going to click Align, and we're going to center it. Oh, that didn't center very well. This box. Okay, we're going to eyeball it. Okay, so now we're going to click them both. We're not going to attach, okay? Because we're printing and we want this to print on the circle and only cut out the circle. We do not want the letters to cut out. We do not attach. We go down here next to attach, the bottom right corner, see where my mouse is circling? You click Flatten. It's going to take a minute. My computer's slower because I am doing a live video, but I've ordered a faster computer I should have by next week. Okay, so now this will cut. It will print this and only cut the outside of this white circle. Now, I've also seen some questions about curved text. Let's just go to a new one. Yes, Michael. Okay, I'm gonna show you how to move the letters. Sorry. I am going to say congrats, Michael. He found a house he's looking for, we were chatting about before the video. Okay, so we are going to change this to something cursive. You can also write in this. If you want just the letters, then you don't flatten the letters onto the circle. Okay, let me go to crooked. Okay, let's try this brush script. Okay, so we want to curve this. I don't like it in a full circle. Okay, say I want to curve it like this. We're going to move the letters closer together. And let it catch up. So we're clicking on letter space right here. I'm clicking the down arrow. And see how they're getting closer. That Michael is actually pretty good. And I think I'm going to have to go in and change some of these just a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is let's make sure I have the curve how I want it. Now that I put the letters, let's curve it a little more. Okay. So now we're going to click advanced and ungroup letters. You can ungroup here too. So now I'm just going to move these letters here so they write and are connected how I want them. It's going to give a little space here. So I want them to cut out as one piece. So I'm going to weld them. You cannot unweld. One thing people like to do if they ever want to change it, to duplicate it first and then weld it so they have the option. And I'm going to move this M just a little closer and select these, and I'm going to weld those. And I could move that up a little bit like that. Whoops. Undo. And select them both and weld them. Now, I cannot change the curvature or do anything like that, but that's how I would do it. Now, these will cut. If I cut these out on paper, they would just be one piece of congrats and one piece of Michael. I don't know what you mean by a curved border. Oh yeah, you can add curved stitch by adding text, the dash line. Okay, so I have this. I've never done this actually. Let's change this. Here, hold on. I gotta select it. We're gonna change this to writing. Those are pretty. Instead of dash line, they're a little wavy. Can you see that? I'm gonna move the spacing a little further away. We're gonna change it from brush to something just more straight, I think. Oh no, I can't see it. Maybe that one does not have that dash line. That's possible. Those are a little curved. Single layer cutting. No. Let's try Chloe. Okay, and I'm on regular. We want to change it to writing. There we go. That's pretty straight. Okay, so we're going to select this. And I'm making them bigger so you can see. If we want the letters, the perforations further apart, we can do that. Right now this is set to write, but we can click over here and change it to cut. So now they will cut. So now you have perforated lines. Now, if you want to curve it, it's hard to select. You can make it go in a circle. So you could do straight lines perforated and circles, or you could change it. You could do ovals, like you could do this, and I can't select it by clicking on it. I have to do that. You can just duplicate it, and you can just flip it. Okay, selecting this is hard. I don't know why I can't do it. Okay, I'm just gonna move it with my keyboard. The arrows on your keyboard, you can move things. So you could do that. Oh, she says use Cricut Sans font for dashed lines. All right, are there any other questions? We only have 5 more minutes until my next video, so I'd like to maybe stop a few minutes early so I can actually be on time for my next video. Yeah, if there's something you don't understand in the video, please rewatch that part of the video, and please comment in the comments below asking me about it. And if I can't show you or tell you in the comments, I can go over it again next week. Every week I do this, 11 a.m. every Saturday. And if you want this to, you have to attach this to something if you want it to be on something specific. All right, guys, I think that's it for today. I did cover a lot. If you like this video and this is your first one you're seeing, you can click on the cards in the upper right hand corner of the video, and there's a whole playlist of like 35 or 37, I'm not sure. This one will be added to that list of many more videos. I think I have completely shown everything in all of those videos, but you never know. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming, and come back, click on my name at the bottom and click on my next video. We'll be live in just a few minutes. Love you guys. Bye.